Good evening. Today is Monday, June 5, 2017. Welcome to the Government News Brief. In the news this evening, East Bank Berbice Road construction commences today. The University of Guyana gets new teleconferencing suite and National Action Plan to address health and climate change being drafted. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta Lafleur. Here are the details. After 47 years of lobbying, residents of East Bank Berbice will soon benefit from the construction of the main access road. Sonika Thorne tells us more.
The wait is now over as the Minister of Public Infrastructure, David Patterson, during a meeting with the residents yesterday, announced that the construction of the road will commence today. The road is funded by the Government of Guyana to the tune of $1.2 billion and will be done in phases. The first phase of the road will commence from Stanleytown to Everton.
Generally, as everybody knows, and that's why you're here, the road is in a poor state. The importance of this road to the communities, from the ordinary residential transportation and for agriculture purposes, cannot be overstressed. The overall objective of this project is to provide a solution to the current difficulties of using the roadway due to the deteriorating state.
Sharon Trim, a resident of Edinburgh, says that she is eternally grateful for the road being constructed.
I am 48 years of age, and since I'm living on the East Bank, Edinburgh, this road is like you have to say abortion alley. And I am grateful that the ministers and them saw how we were suffering and punishing and see it fit not only to promise but to fulfill their promise by coming so that the people on the East Bank can and will have the new road that we need to have.
Andrew France, another resident of the East Bank of Berbice, expresses delight to know and see that the government is keeping true to a promise that they made.
This year is 49 years, we're waiting on this road from government to government, and we're grateful to see that this government come just in such a short time, and they live up to their promise, and it's shocking to know that this road will be commencing tomorrow. So it is nice to see that the government, take responsible for what they have promised and deliver to the people.
The residents will play an integral role with the road's construction as they will hold a majority in the oversight committee of 5 persons. They will also benefit from small contracts and employment. For the Government News Brief, Sonika Thorne reporting.
The University of Guyana now has the capacity to use video conferencing to offer classes across its Stain and Turkine campuses. This follows the commissioning of a teleconferencing suite at its Turkine campus today. Details in this Gabriela Patram report.
Students from the Tain campus will now be able to access classes from the Turkine campus, while students at the Turkine campus will be able to access some international classes. Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes says that the agreement between the ministry and the university is to ensure that there is more connectivity on the campuses.
With the use of technology, we recognize that we can connect distant locations. And that, of course, makes it easy for individuals, for students, for teachers, for whoever it is in our society, in our communities, to be able to connect.
Minister Hughes highlights how important emerging technology is for the development of the country.
This teleconferencing suite is one more step in the march towards creating a higher level of digital connectivity for all citizens of Guyana.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Ivor Griffith, says that this commissioning of the teleconference suite is a result of a memorandum of understanding signed between the university and the Ministry of Public Telecommunications.
This renewal of vows is a reflection of not only the saying on the part of the ministry about the importance of using technology for enabling lives to be bettered, but it is a manifestation of the doing, the tangible demonstration.
The teleconferencing suite is a 2013 gift from Huawei Technologies, which was installed on the university's Turkine campus recently as part of the agreement for technical cooperation between the university and the National Data Management Authority, NDMA, of the Ministry of Public Telecommunications. The NDMA first had to reconfigure the suite to the new fiber optic network connectivity requirements on campus before teleconferencing could have been made activated. For the Government News Brief, Gabrielle Patram.
The newly launched Self-Sufficient Agricultural Economic Services project is timely and will enable residents to provide for themselves. Details in this report. The project was launched at the Hugo Chavez Center at Unverwacht, West Coast, Berbice. Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali expresses gratitude to members of the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Food and Agriculture Organization, National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute, and Food for the Poor for their contributions. The minister says that her ministry is tasked with providing food and shelter, among other necessities, for children, adults, persons who are physically challenged, and victims of domestic violence through various homes and centers. The Self-Sufficient Agricultural Economic Services project was launched to support these services.
This minister is not one who believes that we must wait only on government to provide everything that is needed for the upkeep of the centers that house the inmates, but rather to establish a medium that can help to make us self-sufficient in the entire ministry, as well as to provide adequate and cheap service.
Minister Ali highlighted some of the components of the Economic Services Center.
We have 3 fish ponds, and already we have 2,000 fingerlings eating away for harvest in a couple of weeks. We have 4 pens, 1 for ducks, 1 for Creole fowls, 1 for sheep, 1 for meat birds. All of them have an initial amount of stock, and we will expand over time.
The Minister of Social Protection notes that the ministry is proud of this achievement and will endeavor to work for its sustainability and expansion. Past and current University of Guyana students now have another option, which is safe and easier to repay their loans. More from Paul McAdam.
The Ministry of Finance and the University of Guyana, with the Guyana Telephone and the Telegraph Company, have partnered to offer current and former students an easier option to repay their student loans. The GTT Chief Executive Officer, Justin Ned, describes the new plan as just one of the many ways the company is using technology to improve the lives of Guyanese. The Mobile Money Guyana application, he says, is already being used by thousands to pay utility bills. The application is also in keeping, he says, with a call by President David Granger to use technology to extend the reach of financial services to underserved and unserved communities.
It's simple. Enter your UG registration number and then enter the amount you wish to pay. Hit send and presto. Your payment is sent to the student loan agency. You don't have to come up to UG. You don't have to do it on days that the agency is open. It's really simple. You can do it from the comfort of your own home.
The Finance Minister, Winston Jordan, sees the partnership as another in a series of initiatives to make it convenient for students to repay their debts in an efficient and secure manner.
All it requires is a GT&T handset and an MMG account. Mobile payments are quite in vogue these days, so I expect many persons will make use of this service. I want to thank the CEO of GT&T for the work that his team has done to equip the officers of the Student Loan Agency to handle this new payment method. I was pleasantly surprised last week, Friday, to receive the announcement of the availability of this new service on my phone. So, Thanks GT&T for the free advertising.
The finance minister notes that of the 28,938 loans disbursed, more than 20,300 remain outstanding. He's hopeful that loan defaulters take advantage of the new payment option. Additionally, he's working with the Western Union Company to facilitate payments for students residing overseas. This, he says, should be launched soon. The criteria for issuing loans and potential guarantors is also being restructured so as to facilitate easier repayments, the finance minister explains. From the University of Guyana, Paul McAdam, Government News Brief.
The Ministry of Public Health is collaborating with the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, and the World Health Organization to develop a national action plan to address the adverse effects of climate change. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
The ministry is hosting a two-day intersectoral stakeholder seminar to gather the input of all relevant authorities in drafting the action plan. Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, says that discussions must take full considerations of scientific evidence, factors, and causes of climate change.
Climate change threatens the world's clean water supply and sanitation. The Sustainable Development Goal number 6 is to ensure access to water and sanitation for all. Recently, various global health programs on multi-sectoral levels have included hygiene, creating water, sanitation, and hygiene programs. The health of the world's population is also damaged by toxic land pollution that occurs from sectors such as mining industry that uses mercury to extract gold that contaminates both soil and water. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 12 million people die annually from exposure to hazardous substances introduced into the environment by human activities.
The 4 areas of focus in developing Guyana's action plan include evidence, increased awareness and education, partnerships and adaptation.
PAHO has been focusing its response on outreaches and advocacy, focusing on raising awareness to provide and disseminate information on the threats that climate change presents to human health, as well as PAHO has been focusing on opportunities to promote health while cutting carbon emissions.
Other areas of focus for the International Support Agency include monitoring, surveillance and forecasting. A national strategic plan of action on climate change and health will reaffirm the government's firm commitment towards creating and sustaining a green economy, which will aid in the mitigation of the health effects of climate change on the Guyanese population. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
Today is World Environment Day. The day is being observed under the theme, Connecting People to Nature. This day was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 1972. Each year, the emphasis on World Environment Day is placed on a certain topic of Earth crisis. This year's theme has encouraged people to admire nature and challenges us to find fun and exciting ways to experience and cherish our relationship with nature. Here is what you can do on Environment Day. You can all start from your home. Build a little garden or start with a sapling, fertilize public trees and gardens, clean the roads around your house, say no to plastic, and buy items from recycled products. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Do join us tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. Have a great evening.